Now we need to find and position each individual panel inside of the panels container. So let's see a few returns. We'll start with $, parentheses, tick marks for a string literal, dot panel underscore container, space dot panel, outside of the parentheses, dot each, then a semicolon. Inside of the parentheses for each, type function, beginning and ending parenthesis, beginning and ending bracket. Let's split that open on the brackets. Now let's bring our cursor inside of the parentheses for function and type in index. This is going to tell jQuery that for each panel we want to find, we want to keep track of the number as well. This will give us something to multiply the position by. Okay, now inside of the function for each, so every time we find one of the individual panels, we're going to start with a $, parentheses, type this. We're going to target each panel that we find. Outside of the parentheses, we're going to type .css, beginning and ending parenthesis, then a semicolon. Now inside of the parentheses for CSS, we want to set multiple CSS properties. So we're going to put a beginning and ending bracket. Now inside of the brackets, the first property we're going to set is going to be width. So 2 tick marks for a string literal. Type width. Outside of the string literal, let's hit a colon. And the width of these is going to be the actual panel width. So let's come up here and copy window.panelWidth variable. Let's come down here and paste it after the colon. And now the value for width has to be set with pixels. So we're going to type a plus sign, 2 more tick marks for string literal, and put in px. So this is going to set the width of every one of the panels to match the width of the overall panel container. Now to set the second property, let's get our cursor outside of the string literal for px. Let's hit a comma and set our second CSS property. 2 tick marks for a string literal. Set left. Outside of the string literal, let's hit a colon. And for the value of left, we're going to do a calculation. So let's start by adding a beginning and ending parenthesis. Inside, we're going to take the index variable. We're going to multiply it by putting an asterisk. We're going to multiply it by the window panel width. So let's come over here and copy that variable name. Let's paste it inside of here. Then outside of the parentheses, but still inside of the brackets, let's add a plus sign, 2 tick marks for a string literal, and then px. So basically what we're doing here is for every panel up here that we find inside of panel container, each one we're going to set this CSS width to the width of the overall panel width, and the left position, since these are absolute positioned, to whatever the panel width is. So this is going to set the very first one, since index is going to be 0 to start, at the 0 position, and then the next one's going to be 325, and then 650. On the next line, what we're going to need to do is take the panels container, which is holding all of the individual panels, and make sure that its width is wide enough to encompass all of these new positioned panels. So to target the panels container, $, parentheses, tick marks for a string literal, .sp space .panels, outside of the parentheses, .css, another set of parentheses and a semicolon. Inside of here, we're only going to set one CSS property, so we don't need the brackets. 2 tick marks for a string literal. We're going to set the width. After the string literal for width, let's hit a comma, and here we need to do another calculation. So another set of parentheses. Inside, we're going to set index plus 1. Now, since index starts at 0, we need to make sure we add 1 to it so that we can do a calculation and not get 0, since the width is going to be absolute. Now, outside of the parentheses for that calculation, let's hit an asterisk. We're going to multiply this times the window.panelWidth variable. So let's come up here and copy that name. Let's paste it inside of here. Then a plus sign, 2 tick marks for a string literal, and then px. And then save our work. So now that we've positioned each individual panel, next we can work on applying click events to the tabs.